For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler. It's time for another edition of the Ryan Lewicki Show. Currently joined by Wheeling University head baseball coach Ryan Lewicki. And Ryan, a big weekend for you guys. Go 3-1 against Concord and Glenville State. Talk about this weekend and kind of how you guys were able to bounce back.
Yeah, it was a good weekend, all in all, taking a series, because that's always the goal, trying to win 3 out of 4, keep yourself in a good opportunity, in good standings, in the Mountain East and in conference play. But tough weekend, just 2 games at our place finally, getting to play at our field was big against Concord, having to go to, Park on Saturday against Glenville just because of weather and some issues there with the field. But all in all, it really was a challenging, tough weekend. It always is with Concord and Glenville. Concord, very old, very, very mature, a team that's been around a long time with a ton of fifth-year guys, very experienced, ton of talent, 2 one-run ball games, right? So you got challenged a lot. And then Glenville, it's tough because you've seen them twice, in a non-conference play and, down in a neutral site in Wilson. And at that time, they weren't playing great baseball. And we were just starting to figure out where we were, and they're very different now. 3.5 weeks later, their offense is a lot better. They're swinging it so much more with confidence and with in a procedure of what they're trying to do. Their pitching got a lot better, obviously, over the last 3.5 weeks, and they challenged us. I mean, they drastically challenged us a lot more than Concord did. So to take 3 out of 4 this weekend was obviously the goal, and thankfully we were able to accomplish that. But truthfully, they tested us, and we needed it.
And we've talked about it all year. The offense has kind of been the driving force for you guys early on. When they were down, they were able to answer back. Talk about them and how they were able to kind of stay in the game and put together some of those comebacks they had this weekend.
Yeah, we go through stretches, this offense. As even if you look at paper and how good sometimes the numbers are on paper, we still go through these hot and cold stretches as an offense, where if you go back through a box score and you look at all of our games, you're going to see there's probably 3 straight innings where we may have gotten 1 batter on, and we just got shut down for 3 innings. And then all of a sudden there's, boom, a 4. A 4-run big inning on maybe just us changing the mentality and changing our at-bats and, trying to string things along together. And the next thing you know, there's a 1 and a 2, and next thing you know, bang, there's another 4. It's 10 runs now. So, I don't know if there's ever one answer to how offenses are supposed to work. I think everybody's got different schemes, and, you want to say you have different plans. I think it's just finding your niche. And I think what our niche is starting to become is this. We're starting to understand that we can battle better late, which I think early in the year we struggled doing as an offense. We can score runs later in games, and I think the good part of Glenville was we actually scored, at least in game 4, a run early in the first, in the second, in the third, and it led to the big inning. When it finally happened in the 4th, it wasn't just 7 runs. It was actually 10 now because we did our part for the first few innings. So it's getting there, and I still think we're going to go up and down the rest of the way with this offense. There'll be games where we do execute really well. There'll be games where we get shut down. It's just how baseball is. But I like where we're going with this offense right now.
And then look at the starting rotation. One of the starts I was really impressed with was Cody on Saturday. He came in. He had some trouble on the bases, but was able to work out of it. What'd you see from him in that outing that kind of kept him in the game?
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing was Cody knew that they were going to test him, right? Their offense is getting better. I think he got tested early. He was able to kind of minimize some big innings early. There was a stretch on Saturday with Glenville where they scored 9 straight innings against us from game 1 to game 2. So we really weren't doing enough to minimize their big innings or just minimize them on the base pass. And currently, finally in the 3rd, I think put up that first 0. And I think that's for him was what kind of turned, because next thing you know, we get a run in the 3rd. I think they only get 1 in the 4th, and then bang, the big 7-run inning in the 4th for us. So I think that 3rd where he finally got a 0 just kind of showed us like, okay, we can get back to being us. We can keep this team in check, and yeah, they're going to score a little bit, but we can obviously put zeros up when we need to. So yeah, just a big weekend for him, and then coming off, a no-hitter into the 7th last week in a D&E for Cody after having to close an inning on Friday or Saturday against Wesleyan. So the kid's been worked a lot, 14, 15 innings in the last 2 weeks. So I think he's just in a good place. I think he has to continue to keep controlling the mental side, and we talk a lot about that. But arm-wise and stuff and velocity, it's there. And I think he's just getting better as this year goes.
And one other guy I wanted to bring up on that pitching staff, Jagger Iavanelli. He had 3 scoreless appearances this week. Gets his first save of the year on Saturday against Glenville State. Talk about him and kind of what he's brought out of the bullpen.
Yeah, I think early on, Jagger was expected to have some big innings for us. Just wasn't finding confidence, wasn't controlling the zone enough, and got stuck in that bullpen. And we all know how that works in college, where the opportunities sometimes are maybe once a weekend, maybe not a weekend, maybe whatever. And I think over the last few opportunities, Jagger's just really showcased who he is, and I think that was the guy we thought he was going to be when we brought him here. Somebody that might not always throw the hardest, but is going to just be very slow pace, going to control the game, going to mix speeds, going to really pound the zone both in and out with that secondary. And I think now for 3 weeks, he's starting to get back to who he wants to be. And I think that's what, when we were talking about who we want to close, because that's been an issue for us for 4 weeks, we just said, let's give Jagger a shot at some point. And, again, looked really good. This weekend at Glenville had a really good inning, I think, in the midweek against Dominican, so kid's just playing with confidence right now, and he's trusting his stuff. And at the end of the day, that's all you want your bullpen guys to do.
Currently joined by Wheeling University head baseball coach Ryan Lewicki. And Ryan, obviously you guys were rained out on Tuesday against your midweek game. Talk about how that maybe kind of helps you, giving you some rest, or kind of how that affects your week.
Yeah, I'll be honest, we could use the rest. Last week was tough, having to go a double on Sunday at Wesleyan, a double on Monday at D&E, a single 9 Wednesday at Dominican, and then a double Friday, double Saturday with Concord Glenville. So, you get 9-10 games in the span of 6 days. The arms start to wear, bodies start to get a little tired. So I think this Tuesday rain out was, a blessing, and also it is what it is. We need to keep playing. But it's a big weekend ahead. We're going to be on the road to Notre Dame, playing the MEC North for the first time this year. So, at the end of the day, yeah, do I wish we were still playing baseball? Sure. But I think at some point you could use a little bit of a break. Yesterday was good to kind of let guys just kind of, have a lighter workout and not have to go so intense. And then today, you're back to a Tuesday. So we got to get back after it. We got 4 days to play for Notre Dame, and just got to get ready now for the North.
And you talk about it. You're going to MEC North play for the rest of the conference schedule. Talk about this division. You guys are kind of sitting in the top 3 right now. Talk about the division and kind of how you see it shaping out.
Yeah, Frostburg's done their part. At the beginning of the year, they were preseason 1. And Frostburg, they're old, they're experienced. They have a lot of talent. And I think they're just starting to kind of scratch some national recognition as like a top 30 school. So they're solid. They're doing their part to run away right now with the North. And then you got a little bit of a cluster between us, Fairmont, West Lib, Notre Dame. We're all kind of within a few games of each other. I think the biggest thing is just going to come down to 2 things. Who can actually win weekends against each other, and can anybody, surprise Frostburg right now? So I think that's where these next few weeks are really going to showcase, some of those teams trying to separate themselves. For us, it's simple. We got to find a way to take 3 out of 4 from Notre Dame, right? Can we continuously pitch better than them? Can we make more routine plays than them? Can we play for bigger innings? And, when we have leads, can we hold them? That's been the story of this year. Can we hold leads when we have them late? So we'll see. It's a lot of fun coming up, and it's always exciting to go up to Cleveland for sure.
And looking at this road trip, as you mentioned, go to Notre Dame College, getting to play in Avon, Ohio. Talk about this weekend and kind of some of your goals.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is maybe start to get this rotation set again, because of the quick turnarounds over the last 2 weekends. We've had to stick with the same 4 guys, going the same games just based on rest because it's short. So this is the neat part, is we finally get to set our rotation the way we want to set it. We have 7 days to get our top 4 lined up. We have 7 days to get the bullpen back and get everybody healthy and fresh the way we want them. And then we can start to figure out who fits what pieces. But, yeah, it's simple. You got to win 3 out of 4. You got to keep them in check. You got to make sure you get some big innings, make routine plays. Don't give them the free stuff. And then for us, it's simple. Win game 1. I think if you win game 1, keep a lead, hold a lead, you have every good opportunity to go win a weekend when you want to down the road.
Thanks, Ryan. Good luck this weekend. Can't wait to see you out there.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler.